28 weeks pregnant, you know what I'm gonna take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen. It's gonna work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
What a beautiful way to own the conservatives. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Duke and Dutch show. Duke had a family matter here to attend to, but I am here on my own, willing to continue. Now, over the weekend, RFK Jr., our HHS secretary, appointed by our wonderful president, Donald Trump, cited sources, actually many sources, saying that there could be a link between the use of antimorphin, I believe it is. It's the active ingredient in Tylenol, and how if you use it during pregnancy, it might increase the risk of autism happening in your child. Now, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I don't know the specifics, but we're not really going to talk about that. Today we're going to talk about how liberal women seem to be. How'd that get in there? We're going to show how liberal women, in an act of defiance because of this weird TDS derangement syndrome that it seems to be infecting a lot of people in our country, instead of being like, well, maybe we'll see what's going to happen, trust the science, or they are actively chugging Tylenol when they don't need it, which could be obviously harmful. Again, I'm not a doctor. Don't quote me. I'm just going by what our HHS secretary is saying. But it could be harmful to their unborn child, and it could be harmful to them.
Mr. President, I'm curious, as you look at the trend lines,
Yeah.
how much of this is the causation of acetaminophen, and how much is sort of better diagnosis, doctors, researchers having a better understanding of what is on the autism spectrum?
Do you want to do that? Sure, go ahead, Ron.
That's one of the canards that has been promoted by the industry for many years, that it's changed diagnostic criteria, better recognition. But there's been study after study done of that completely debunks that. One of them by the Mind Institute at UC Davis, University of California.
So he's citing studies about possible links between why there is such a huge increase in autism over the past couple decades and why it's not affecting anybody that he knows, at least in his generation. Just for context.
Yeah. But also it's just common sense, because you're only seeing this in people who are under 50 years of age. If it were better.
Oh, I do want to point out too, because I am talking about health, or I'm speculating on it, I guess. I know I'm smoking. Don't smoke, kids. Okay? Smoking is bad for you.
Recognition or diagnosis, you'd see it in 70-year-old men. I've never seen this happening in people my age. I've never seen a case of full-blown autism, and that means profound autism. I want to be very careful.
And the difference between profound autism and slight autism, it's a spectrum. Obviously, it's a spectrum. But I think what people are actually getting really offended about is they don't really realize the difference. And there is quite a difference, and he's going to explain it right now.
Head banging, stimming, toe walking, nonverbal, non-toilet train. I've never in my life seen a 70-year-old man who looks like that. You're only seeing it in the kids. It's an epidemic.
So is RFK Jr. off the base? I don't know. He could be, but he is the HHS secretary, and he is better than the last HHS secretary that we had. Justin, RFK Jr. reveals Tylenol use doesn't just have links to autism, but ADHD and liver toxicity in children as well. Well, we know that. I mean, I don't know about the ADHD part, although I do. I have been diagnosed with ADHD. I do have ADHD. And liver toxicity, I think that is on the bottle, or the pill bottle or whatever. That if you take too much Tylenol or ibuprofen, anything like that, I do believe that it can damage your liver. You're only recommended to take a certain amount at a certain amount of time. Why is Tylenol available over the counter over Vecmectin? Sorry, I can't pronounce that. Is not, because our politicians are owned by big pharma. Let's hear what RFK has to say. Ooh, this is a better clip.
Important findings from our autism work that are vital for parents to know as they make these decisions. First, HHS will act on acetaminophen. The FDA is responding to clinical and laboratory studies that suggest a potential association between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes, including later diagnosis for ADHD and autism. Scientists have proposed biological mechanisms linking prenatal acetaminophen exposure to altered brain development. We have also evaluated the contrary studies that show no association. Today, the FDA will issue a physician's notice about the risk of acetaminophen during pregnancy and begin the process to initiate a safety label change.
I want to go on the record here and just say I've looked at these studies very briefly, I guess. But I am obviously not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I don't really understand the studies. I haven't researched the studies enough to even come to that conclusion. I'm going off what RFK says here, and I'm going off the viral reaction, really, about the liberals who are now going to try to harm their child to try to own Donald Trump and RFK Jr., which I find just insane.
HHS will launch a nationwide public service campaign to inform families and protect public health. FDA.
But I do think RFK Jr. is right in a sense that there has to be something happening to children, that there is such a growing level of autism that we did not see in the past generations. I think that's just logical.
Also recognize that acetaminophen is often the only tool for fevers and pain in pregnancy, as other alternatives have well-documented adverse effects. HHS wants, therefore, to encourage clinicians to exercise their best judgment in the use of acetaminophen for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required. Furthermore, thanks to the politicization of science, the safety of acetaminophen against the risk of neurodevelopmental disorders in young children has never been validated. Prudent medicine, therefore, suggests caution in acetaminophen use by young children, especially since strong evidence also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen in children can potentially prolong viral illnesses. FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to a possible acetaminophen connection to autism for pregnant women, infants, and toddlers, our research has revealed that folate deficiency in a child's brain can lead to autism.
So, what I think RFK is saying here, and again, this is a lot of medical mumbo jumbo, which does go a little bit over my head. But I think he's saying, hey, I've seen studies, and I think there is a link with autism, and there's something that's got to be causing this. Tylenol itself has actually come out and said this. This is a tweet from, July 3rd, or 2017. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns. Okay. There's also very ironically from Autism Capital of the World. Congrats on your upcoming edition. So exciting. It'd be great to touch base real quick since we haven't tested Tylenol to be used during pregnancy. This was July 17, 2019. March 7, 2017. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. February 3rd, 2017. Thanks for the shout out, Carrie. Just make sure to talk to your doctor before taking Tylenol while you're pregnant. Thanks again. September 8, 2016. If you are pregnant/nursing, seek the advice of your healthcare professional before using Tylenol or any other medication. So to me, this doesn't seem like it's an isolated incident. It doesn't seem like it cropped out of nowhere. It seems like Tylenol has actually been preaching this for almost 10 years now, maybe longer than that. I don't know. But what is concerning is the fact that RFK Jr. came out with this studies. He came out with evidence. He came out with facts. And what he's been led to believe, and that he has said, you know, he thinks there's a war on our children via health and all that. And he's trying to make America healthier. He really wants the next generation to be a lot healthier, very prosperous, very happy. And a lot of women, for some reason, have come out here and just to own MAGA or to own the conservatives, they've started chugging Tylenol. We're going to hear from Riley Gaines here. I'm sure everybody knows who Riley Gaines is. She was a collegiate swimmer, got very famous for the trans movement. And this probably actually does pertain to her pretty well because she is, I believe, currently pregnant.
I've seen too many videos today of pregnant women downing Tylenol, I guess in an effort to own or spite President Trump. Let me show you just a few.
Yeah, so, and it's like, why? Why do this? It's just... Obviously, you know, Tylenol is supposed to be, you know, a headache helper, you know, fever reducing. I've actually found that Tylenol's never really worked for me. I always take ibuprofen. They could be the same thing. I don't know. I'm not that educated. I'm not going to claim I am. I don't know anything about the pharmaceutical industry other than it's corrupt and it does run our government. Other than that, I don't know anything about pharmaceuticals. But it just seems completely irresponsible that somebody just comes out on a platform and says, hey, Tylenol might be very harmful during pregnancy. And not only are you going to risk, you know, your own health, but also the health of your child. Crazy. But Trump derangement syndrome is real. We might have to make a whole separate category for, you know, RFK derangement syndrome. Doesn't roll off the tongue as well. But we might have to.
While pregnant, because I don't take my medical advice from a man who doesn't have a degree in science, healthcare, or medicine.
Imagine hating Trump more than you love your...
She did take her medical degree from the last person who, in the Biden administration, was convinced that, a man who was convinced he was a woman. So...
own child. Also, what are the odds these people who talk about believing and trusting the science believe that men can get pregnant? Because this is the Assistant Secretary of Health under the previous administration.
There we go. I was just about to say that. I can't remember his name, her name, however you want to say it. It escapes me now. I guess it's because it's not that important.
Like, y'all were taking advice from a man who thinks he's a woman. If you watch the press conference where Trump talked about this, like I did yesterday, Trump very clearly says, talk to your doctors, let them advise you, make your own choices. If you can refrain, you probably should, but if you need to take Tylenol, do it, but not in excess. And it's not just Trump saying that. This is a study from Harvard.
Well, that's just general knowledge. Everybody knows you can't take, you know, you can't down half a bottle of Tylenol. Because it will, it's on the bottle. It can lead to liver failure. I've never been pregnant. And this might offend people. I can't get pregnant. But all I know is it can damage your liver. But I was not aware of all this stuff with, you know, the female anatomy, especially while, you know, you're with child or anything like that.
Harvard, the bastion of liberalism that is Harvard, okay? And here's a study from Johns Hopkins. All Trump said is that autism rates and the usage of Tylenol during pregnancy are linked. He didn't say it's the only thing that can cause autism in children, and he didn't say it's a guarantee that it will cause autism. If Trump says that
well, I think that's very fair. Exactly.
Oxygen is good, I am convinced that there are people out there who would suffocate themselves.
Yeah. I actually 100% agree with Riley Gaines in this situation here. So... we're going to go to this video just to cap it off here, just to see all the deranged women who are pregnant, who, you know, might be hormonal, fairly. I don't want to cast aspersions on, you know, the miracle of childbirth and the caring of the child. I'm sure that's very difficult. It's very hard, and I'm sure your emotions are on a swing a lot of the times. But you probably shouldn't be doing anything just to own Trump. Now, I can't independently confirm that what this lady is saying is true. But if it is, it's horrifying, and that everybody should. And again, I have no medical expertise, and I want to make that very clear. Nobody listen to me for medical advice at all. I'm going off what RFK said. I'm going off what I'm seeing in this context. But probably consult your doctor beforehand.
We need to have a serious talk, and this isn't going to be one of my funny videos because I don't think this shit is funny at all anymore, and you people need to cut it out. Cut it out. I just watched a video from Nicole Sorrento on her Instagram about a husband who contacted her at 4 a.m. this morning. Do you know why? Because his wife, pregnant wife, who's 23 to 25 weeks pregnant, wanted to prove that Tylenol doesn't cause autism. Guess where she is? She's in a hospital on a ventilator with liver failure, and they said she's not going to survive.
And again, I can't confirm if this is 100% true or this is some shock jock thing to try to spin the narrative, but I would say that it is very clear on the Tylenol bottles. As far as I remember, I haven't taken Tylenol in a little bit, but as far as I remember, that excess Tylenol can cause liver failure. It can. So obviously, don't take more than the prescribed amount, and maybe if you're pregnant, consult a doctor before you do. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to give medical advice, but I'm pretty sure that is listed on the bottle.
Okay?
I mean, there's rules on most boats. Don't get on a boat if you're pregnant, I think, right? You're not supposed to go on a boat because it's rocky if you're pregnant. And I don't think anybody who owns the boat, I mean, probably some people own boats are doctors. Most of them are not, though. It's just you got to be very careful of what you do with your body, especially when you're pregnant. So
I'm angry. I'm so angry for someone to be that selfish towards their unborn child. And how stupid. How stupid. Every single one of you who support this, you think it's funny, you're making videos.
And it's not. You should really only take medication when you actually need it.
There's nothing cute, funny. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. I mean,
Also, I know I'm smoking during this video, and I know that's unhealthy. So don't get on me about that. I'm aware of my own vices, and I know it's not good.
I think that this is where we've gotten to.
But I'm not pregnant either.
Right? As a country. To think that people hate a man so much, not because they really have anything to hate him for, but because they're told, programmed to believe. Orange man bad. That you would go to these levels. People joke and they say Trump derangement syndrome. Let me tell you something. I'm telling you, it's real.
Yeah, it should be on the DHS. It is a real thing. There are people who have Trump derangement syndrome. There are people that no matter what Trump would do, I think there are people that said if Trump said bleach, was the worst thing in the world, don't drink it. And I think people would drink bleach. I really do. I think it is a mental illness. I think it's brought on a lot by the media. But it's definitely a real thing.
It should be labeled a real mental illness.
Oh, there we go.
Because
okay.
I'm a mother of 3 sons. And I'm trying to put myself in the head of somebody who would do something so stupid and dangerous, knowing that they're carrying another life.
Well, see, I think the problem with that is that liberals, even if they want to have a child and they want to carry it to term, they don't consider it another life until it comes out the womb. It's not everybody, but that is normally how they think, and that's why, abortion is up to 9 months in some states. It's an illness, though. It's a disease.
I'm angry. I'm enraged. I have words. I'm at a loss for words. Stop. Stop. You got you. I just listen. I'm praying for that woman.
And I think everybody should. Because obviously, if you take too much Tylenol, and if what this woman is saying is accurate, I can't really confirm that, but yeah, I am also praying for that mother and that child, obviously, because 25 to 27 weeks is that'll be rough, and hopefully the mother also can pull through. Obviously, you don't want to see anybody lose their life. Especially not for some viral, stupid, I'm gonna own President Trump or RFK Jr. type thing. You just don't want to see. Your life is worth so much more to somebody who's worth so much more.
And her child. I'm praying for her husband, for her family. Yeah. It's sad.
It's really sad. So, listen. I don't know, and I'm not smart enough to know. I'm not going to pretend I'm a doctor or a pharmacist or anything like that, as I've said before. But please, be very careful with what you put in your bodies. Don't do something for a viral moment to try to own somebody, especially not ingesting pills, even if it is just Tylenol. We think Tylenol, obviously, it's probably one of the most readily consumed pills in America. It probably is. But I'm pretty sure it can lead to liver failure if you take too much of it. So please be very careful. Don't do these stupid viral stunts. It's not worth it. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your unborn child's life. Just... disagree if you think it's crap. If you think what RFK Jr. and Donald Trump are coming out with, if you don't believe in the studies, please disagree in a different sort of way. Do not try to prove a point by popping Tylenol. That's all I gotta say about it. And obviously, prayers to this mother and this child. And hopefully everything works out for the best. Catch you in the next one. Later.